Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually waited for something? Welcome to another episode on Soft Whistle. And my name is Ruth Emmanuel.
Victoria Munier.
So today we are going to be talking about something that might seem like the grammar is big, but it's actually very simple. Delayed gratification. So let's start with the meaning. What is delayed gratification? So delayed gratification simply means saying not now to something you want today because you are working towards a bigger goal in the future.
One thing about undelayed, that's the contrary, undelayed gratification is that it can create a feel of comfort, which becomes an hurdle to experiencing and retaining the actual fulfillment that comes from attainment. So it creates a shadow of the real thing. That is what it does. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Say, for example, a good example would be perhaps a young man. You are very admirable. You have options. You're all loved up, maybe because of your charisma or your good looks. So you're getting a steady supply of dopamine strikes. You're getting these validations, and you're getting your ego hyped. The dangerous thing about this is that you can find it very difficult to be motivated to do more in order to become the person that that will be able to build the life that you actually want, so the dangerous thing about this is that you're getting this validation. Your system, your brain registers these validations that you've nurtured as rewards, as desired results. So you no longer feel the need to do more, to actually become more.
You feel
So
more like when I've found something to eat, I think it's okay. And some of the biggest things we want in life does not come through. It does not work that way. Talk about healthy relationship. Talk about successful career. Talk about character building. It does not work that way. I asked a question earlier that when was the last time you actually waited for something? Let's take it in the angle of, say, for example, a business person wants to invest something. Instead of spending the money, taking part of your salary, for example, and investing like 50%, and then you use the other 50% to pay your bills instead of going all out, using it to buy the latest food in town. Of course, I'm not saying taking self-care is not okay, but there is a way you could actually plan things and also plan ahead for the future because you are building generation wealth, or you are thinking ahead for your generation.
people often think that the present is only for the now. Actually, the present is also for the future, because the choices we make today obviously affect the future. So that is why daily gratification, I believe, is to be practiced in all aspects of our lives: your prayer life, your business, your relationships. Like this writer, James Clear, he quoted in one of his books, Atomic Habits. He said, live up to your, you do not level up to your goals. You fall to your systems. So you fall to the level of your systems. So that means that regardless of the goals you set, regardless of your targets, your expectations, all those things, systems are what you repeatedly do to achieve them. And that is what has massive impact on how far you're going to go with your goals. What do you think about this?
Of course, I agree to that.
I feel like systems have a lot to play.
Yes, when you put system in place, that is when you know that you are growing, because a lot of people will feel like, how are you able to do a lot? It's because of the system I've put. Then they will simply tell you, I have system that I've put in place that helps me with this process. business people and people with big goals would want to work with someone that is aligned, that has system put in place, that is not after what only what she wants, like the big money or the big thing.
Yeah.
Of course, that is part of it. But when you don't put system in place, then I don't see it as a value, someone who has big value. Because there is probability that what you are doing can crash anytime, and you are not well stable, you don't have a good foundation, which is not an easy thing to build. Let's talk about why is waiting so hard. Why is it very hard to wait? Because let's be honest here, it is not very easy to wait.
No.
Because imagine seeing someone, the latest iPhone is out now, and everybody is, and you have the money to buy it. Everybody's like, why are you using this phone? And you know that you are pursuing something greater, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have the mental capacity
To restrain
yourself and not to allow those things to get to your head. Those peer pressure.
Yeah, you've literally said a lot about it already.
Exactly.
So yeah, peer pressure, comparison.
Yes.
These are things that really stop people from waiting. Yeah, you want to have, just like what I first mentioned, a feel of what it looks like or what it will feel like if you had these things already. So if you're already feeling it, that's why there is this concept about self-help books not helping so much, because now you've dived into so many books, you've read so many books, you're pinned, and you feel like the positivity that you're already starting to feel within you is giving you a sense of growth already, and that obstructs you from actually doing what you have to do to achieve what you need to achieve. So that idea that you can taste what it looks like to have those things can also obstruct you from giving the work that you have to put in to actually live the life,
because
to actually attain and have fulfillment rather than just a feel of comfort.
Yes. And most times what we see on social media, even reading books, if you read books because people are reading books, and I've heard that when I'm reading books, people see me as someone who is very intelligent, right? I think that is the wrong way of doing it. Exactly. And social media especially shows the process, shows the celebration, but not the process. And there's a lot to put in. That's why I don't trust some. Of course, it's good to take advice from business people, read books, but when you read books, sometimes it takes a lot to understand. There's a lot going on underneath what this person is saying simply, and you feel like, oh, this is so simple, and you can imagine yourself in it, but you are not actually working towards it. You're like, I'm not buying it again. They are lying on it. Of course, they are making their money, but it is action, doing something, putting action into it. And it is good to look at the big picture and know that whatever we want to do, especially not to feel overwhelmed, we have to take things slowly, and we have to deprive ourselves for some things. Take for example, instead of binge watching on social media, you have exams, although it is not this month, next month, and you know that I could use this time to read instead, because you have a greater thing, prepared. You are preparing for what is ahead of you. That is delayed gratification. I told someone one time that while I was in school, the way social media is being built now, you can stay glued, and sometimes you keep blaming yourself, like, oh God. So I had to delete TikTok then, because I was in school. I feel like this is misplaced priority. So I have to delete TikTok because it's doing me no good.
Of course, you just say just one more video.
Yeah.
Swiped through.
Of course, so I had to delete TikTok, and then I did my exam, I did what I have to do. And after graduation, then I downloaded it back, and I felt like now I'm matured enough to control myself to watch it if I want to watch TikTok. So that's why sometimes it's not good to compare yourself to people. You don't know what they are doing behind the scene. So that's delayed gratification. Can you see? And when TikTok, I was able to watch TikTok later and I was able to achieve what I want to achieve. Imagine I was just watching TikTok throughout. I would have failed my exams and I wouldn't have get the bigger thing, which we have to prioritize what is needed to be prioritized.
Yeah. You need to postpone pleasure
Exactly.
in order to prioritize purpose. So self-control is I believe self-control plays a big role in delayed gratification.
Yes.
Self-control. And self-control is developed through repeated choices. I don't believe that it's something that one person has and doesn't. I believe everybody has access to self-control if we work through it by development. And that's your repeated choices. Even from the spiritual perspective, that self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit.
Yes.
It still takes development. Still development. Because what happens before a fruit surfaces? What happens before? There are things that happens, right? The development, the seedling, the watering, the sun ray. So I once read an article by Reverend George Adegboye. That's the head pastor of Rema Chapels. He once said or wrote in his article that when God wants to develop a fruit in you, he puts you in a contrary situation where you can be opportuned to actually manifest that fruit. So you can say that you have patience until you're tested. How can you, be sure of yourself that you have patience, that I do have patience, I do have gentleness, I do have joy, if you're not in a situation that contradicts that? So everybody can claim that they have patience. Everybody can claim that they have these fruits until it is tested. So, like, what do you have to say about self-control, the role of self-control?
Yes, and I will use fasting as one example. Delaying, I think fasting is a good practical ways of developing self-control. Depriving of yourself food in the morning to 12, you practice it till 3, you didn't eat anything. I think that helps with self-control a lot because I have done it and it works helpful for me. It was very helpful because while I'm fasting, I am not distracted with a lot of things. I am very aligned with what I want to do. This is what I have to do. And if you are able, because at first it is very hard for some people to fast. Like fast to 12.
Your body has to adapt.
Yes, and that is it. Is it. It is not easy. But when you do it once, second time, third time, fourth time, then it becomes easier. So I think that is when you have the self-control, but you have to choose first. You see, it's your choice. You have to be like, I want to do this and I will do it. I will do it and also developing self-control is also being wise on what you tell people, especially the people that cannot relate to what you are doing. They will discourage you.
They'll try to impress their own limits on you.
Exactly. So, this thing, and if we are to be honest here, you discussing with someone that wants to do this as if you are also bragging to some point. It's just like if someone of different value. Take for example, I know you fast, right? And I want to improve myself. I want to fast. You understand? That is not. But someone you know that they don't fast, and you're telling the person, I want to fast for 3 days. So I think that's not self. So developing self-control is determining discipline in yourself that I want to do this, and you start bit by bit. Then before you eventually you see that, wow, what I've delayed this, then I'm able to attain this. So I've grown this big. Wow, this is wonderful because it is something that you do gradually because you've deprived yourself from a lot of things, and now you don't see those things as it is, the pleasure, how big it is that people are hyping it. But now you can calm down and say, wow, it's worth it. And I have a question. Does waiting actually determine success?
Does waiting actually
Does
determine?
it guarantee success? Yes. Does it guarantee success?
Well, I wouldn't say. It depends on the perspective. I would say in your waiting, make waiting worth it. Make waiting worth it, irrespective of the results.
Mhm.
You have to go through the journey of waiting with that with that consideration that, okay, if even if things don't end the way I wanted to, this is what I've decided to do. It's about your decision.
Yes.
It's about your decision. And the interesting thing about decisions is that you can decide to take a decision that would cost you right now, but will pay you much more in the future.
Yes.
Or the another decision may come in a way that looks like it's going to cost you nothing right now, but it's going to cost you much more in the future.
Mhm.
And you know what they say about consequences? Consequences are not a thing of the present.
Of
It's
course.
a thing of the future.
Of course.
So it's about your decision.
Decision and
Like
priority
this,
too.
yeah, and your priority.
Exactly.
Like this quote I came across that talk about choose your art. Being married is hard. Being divorced is hard, right? Being a glutton is hard. And also restraining yourself from food and building muscle is also hard. So you have to choose your heart. So your waiting period is about your priority and your decision.
Exactly.
That this is the person I want to be. This person I have decided to be. So in regardless of the your efforts and what you're devoted to doing, even if it doesn't come out as successful as you expect, what is more important than achieving certain things is the person you become while at it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So because there are some people that may go through the same path that you're going through right now. They came into success, but during that period of time, they've lost themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost their values. They've lost their relationship with God. They have become someone totally different from who they used to be, and not in a positive way.
Yeah.
So it's about the introspect. It's about the person you're becoming while waiting,
of course,
more than the end result.
Of course.
So that's what I would say.
My own perspective to it, what I would say is that, of course, waiting does not guarantee success.
Yeah.
It requires action. It requires action. It requires growing. It requires you checking yourself. And another angle, another side to this conversation is that everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
And that's why I said priority is very important. And when we don't compare, life is not the same for all of us, for everybody. Some people are built into success already, and they cannot relate to you because of your own situation. You were born into a poor family and you need to build yourself. So you need a lot of job to do. And I feel like that person will need this version of delayed gratification a lot. Likewise, the person that was born into success already, there's a lot of opportunities on ground for them, and there's a lot of system that the parents, the generation had already put in place, that they're already built in for them, and you don't have the same opportunity. So that person can be buying iPhone. That person can be doing some things that you can see as present things, that these things are just, and you can even criticize it, that these things are just things of that you finish now. All of it's because you don't have the capacity to get it. You weren't born in that way. So I feel like people have different journey, and it depends on priority. So you have to see yourself and know that, okay, this is what I should do, because I'm creating system for my own generation. I'm building my name, and this is what I have to deprive myself of. These are the circles I have to work with, even if it's very hard for me to leave that circles. Even if they are very close, it is difficult to leave some certain people and come into some circles. So there are a lot of, like you said, a lot of hard. You have to choose your own hard. And you can also call it simple. Depends on how you want to put it. So yeah. And another question is delayed gratification still worth it?
Yes, it's worth it. Like I read somewhere, it says it's easier to run on an empty stomach. It's easier to run on an empty stomach. So yes, delayed gratification is way worth it. I read in the Bible somewhere that says that she who loves pleasure will die in poverty. So if you are committed to just having pleasure and pleasure, a lack of sense, like when you lack that sense of purpose, you're committed to pleasure.
Pleasure, yeah.
That's it. Because you're always having this thing distracting you. You always need something to distract you. But when you have purpose, when you have a sense of purpose, you have a sense of direction, you have a sense of clarity about what you want out of life. Yes, delayed gratification is going to be very useful.
Of course, it's worth it.
That's it. So I would say it's worth it.
Yes, it is. It is. I support that. It is. And some things that can't just be rushed. Some things cannot.
So regarding delayed gratification, your future isn't primarily shaped by the things you hope to accomplish. It is shaped by the systems you practice consistently when nobody is watching.
Yeah, and it is about making choices that your future itself will say thank you for. And we'll be dropping the curtain on this episode, Soft Whistle, and we hope you really enjoyed the conversation. You were able to learn a lot on delayed gratification. And don't forget to drop in the comment section, what do you think? What do you learn from this conversation? And what is that choice that you will be making today to change things, and that will determine the trajectory of your life? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you. I still remain Ruth Emmanuel with
Victoria Omani.
Bye-bye.